Some weird stuff is happening in this house. Just as Xiaoyu was about to lull her daughter to sleep, a sudden melody burst forth from the nursery. It's the midnight karaoke. Little did she expect the door suddenly and unexpectedly closed by itself, which startled Xiaoyu so much that she jumped up in fright. At that time, she and Zhang were simply relaxing in the living room. Nevertheless, Xiaoyu's screams were swiftly heard by Amu, who had just returned home from work. He rushed to summon a priest. After hearing Xiaoyu's recent tales, he soothingly advised, "Why don't you get some sleep? That is, if you can sleep at home." While Amu waited at home, Xiaoyu's cries caught his attention, and he immediately called for the priest. After hearing about Xiaoyu's frightening experiences, the priest rushed back home in a hurry, and Xiaoyu hurriedly moved forward to speak. "Let me take you outside." After listening to Xiaoyu's ordeal, the priest was convinced. This is all the work of that mischievous puppet, Annabelle, as it tries to snatch Xiaoyu's daughter for its own resurrection. Hearing this, Xiaoyu was terrified. After all, her daughter was more precious to her than her own life, and the priest's next words comforted her. Souls need to be willingly sacrificed to the evil spirit, but evidently, babies aren't exactly lining up to volunteer for that. Yet, to reassure Xiaoyu, the priest said he'd take the puppet back to church, where maybe the holy vibes could keep the evil spirits in check. However, unexpectedly, just as soon as he arrived back at the church entrance early the next morning, Tommy saw the nuns outside the ward, and she seemed to have realized something, quietly keeping vigil beside the priest until nightfall. Only when the priest finally woke up did he utter, "Where's that puppet?" leaving Ami utterly baffled. Didn't the priest take the puppet himself? But then he said something that left Tommy shocked. He claimed to have seen the evil spirit Xiaoyu mentioned, and sensed just how much it wanted to possess Amma's daughter. Tommy knew her daughter wouldn't sacrifice willingly. The priest said, "Babies don't volunteer for sacrifice." My goodness, does that mean Xiaoyu might? That scared Amu half to death, and she dashed to the phone to warn Xiaoyu. But when Xiaoyu answered, all she heard was static. It was as if she were talking to a tiger instead of her husband. Priest, she exclaimed loudly. "My God is holy. It turns out to be your soul." "Who's there?" Black Sister immediately sensed that something was not right. She insisted on leaving immediately, but there was no way Xiaoyu would abandon her daughter. She rushed into the nursery, but her daughter vanished without a trace. This totally freaked Xiaoyu out, while Black Sister kept urging her to leave, knowing that Amu can control the baby and would just use her to control the mothers instead. Caption: maybe Amu believed that Black Sister knew an excessive amount, so she abruptly appeared and forcefully pushed her out the door, leaving Xiaoyu in utter despair as she loudly questioned, "What exactly do you want?" Sure enough, a pencil rolled out of the nursery, and Xiaoyu calmly walked over to investigate. She discovered the ceiling scrolled with "Sacrifice your soul," while Amu lay on the baby bed. Xiaoyu frantically pulled Amu out of there. She threw Amu in the nursery, then her daughter's figure suddenly appeared by the door. She rushed over to scoop her up, but as she turned back, her daughter had morphed into a little lamb, running around like a puppy. All of a sudden, something unexpected occurred. The window flung itself open, and sparkling lights cascaded down like a waterfall. Clearly, she realized the evil spirit wanted her to willingly sacrifice her soul to return her daughter. Right at this critical and perilous moment, Ami finally managed to rush back and pull Xiaoyu away precisely at the instant when he was turning around. Turns out, when her daughter had that accident, only Amu had survived. Maybe it was all building up to this moment. At the moment when Xiaoyu and Amu were not paying attention, Black Sister, holding the puppet, stepped onto the windowsill, fully displaying her great maternal love. She couldn't save her own daughter, which left a gaping wound in her heart. Perhaps this time she would find the closure she desperately sought. In the end, the camera glides over the glass box where Annabelle still wears that eerie, cunning smile. It seemed like she was waiting for her next opportunity, gearing up for her horror cycle to begin anew, sending chills down our spines. This meant that Annabelle's terror wasn't truly over. She would always be waiting for another chance to rise again, leaving the audience to ponder. Even if this terrifying story has come to a close, who could guarantee that Annabelle will forever be trapped inside that glass box? After watching the entire film, a constant, lingering gloom wraps around our minds. The scariest part of the movie isn't the puppets' eerie movements or the sudden close-ups of evil spirits, but rather the heart-wrenching nature of maternal love. When Annabelle uses a baby's cries and rocking motions to manipulate Yu, while even faking her child's image, what we witness isn't only the evil's cunning, it's a mother's instinctive struggle. Yu thinks about tossing the doll several times, but can't bring herself to, worried it might just be fate's cruel gift. Using it could worsen things, serving as the entry for evil spirits into humanity. Laxistive sacrifice reveals another harsh truth. When maternal love turns to unfulfilled regret, it's the evil spirit's sharpest tool. As she leaps off the ledge with Annabelle in her arms, it's both a late redemption for her daughter and a cry for all mothers held captive by fear. In the film, Annabelle inside the glass box continues to smile. Resembling the real-life malice we try to avoid yet can't escape, a constant reminder. Fear doesn't come from external monsters, but from within, facing the fear of loss and the compromises we make with the unknown. When we hesitate to toss the doll while standing in our safe zones, we might have already given dark forces their opening. Director Leo intentionally magnified the liquidification of everyday items, with popcorn exploding out of nowhere. All these should have been innocent aspects of life. Under the control of the evil spirit, they transform into deadly weapons. He noted that the most horrifying part isn't the unknown monster, but that the very things you touch daily could betray you. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.